The engines puffed as fast as they could to catch up to Greg. So Topham Hatt used his tracker app to find Greg. "Greg's a mile ahead," said Sir Topham Hatt. The engines puffed on. They stopped at a switch. "Greg went that way, and the gold went straight ahead," said Sir Topham Hatt. "Me and Percy will go for the gold. Gordon, go after Greg," said Thomas. And they went down their lines. "We'll never find the gold," said Percy. "We mustn't give up. We have to try," replied Thomas. Their pistons pumped and their axles ached, but they carried on. Soon they saw the gold cars. "I see it!" cried Thomas. Meanwhile, Gordon was catching up to Greg. "Greg, stop! You're gonna run off the cliff!" cried Gordon. "I can't! Boomer tied on my controls!" replied Greg. Meanwhile, Thomas and Percy were catching up to the gold. "Percy, I'll switch tracks and get in front. You come in from behind," called Thomas. Thomas switched tracks and got in front of the gold train. Percy came in from behind. "I'm losing power!" cried Boomer. Then he had an idea. He threw a crate at the switch. The cars went down the other line. "Percy, go after Boomer! I'll catch up!" called Thomas. "I'm on my way," replied Percy. Thomas backed up to the switch. "I'm coming," called Thomas. Meanwhile, Greg was approaching the cliff. Gordon was closing in. His driver leaped from his cab into Greg's cab. Yes! Gordon's driver untied the rope and applied Greg's brakes. "You saved me!" exclaimed Greg. Greg slowed to a stop. "Thank you, Gordon," said Greg. Meanwhile, Percy was catching up to the cars. Thomas was catching up too. "Yes, there's a switch!" "Darn it," said Thomas. "We must save the gold. We must!" Then there was trouble. The cars were approaching the Sodor Bay. "No!" cried Percy. Percy went as fast as he could to try and couple up to the cars. Percy got himself coupled to the cars. "I did it!" cried Percy. He tried to apply the brakes, but it was too late. No! The gold had sank to the bottom of the bay. Percy had fallen off the track and into the water and on the shore. "I failed again," said Boomer. Later that day, Diesel 10 was sent back to the mainland and Boomer was picked up by the police. "Hello, hello, hello, who do we got here?" said the policeman. Boomer had been placed under arrest. Percy was lifted out of the water. "I'm sorry, sir," said Percy. "We tried to stop Boomer, but we lost the gold," said Thomas. "There's nothing to be sorry about," said Sir Topham Hatt. "My engines are much more important to me than any gold." Thomas and Percy felt better. Today had been a real wild ride.